Good evening, Furality. Welcome. Welcome. Let me show you a vision. So, typical VRChat, it is movie night. It's time for everyone to hang out, right? You go talk to your friends and decide, hey, it's time to hang out. Where are you going? You know, you set your world, you set your movie, and now it's time for you to log into VRChat, right? You log into VRChat and you send your invites. Now, it's either you're the one who's inviting or they're the one inviting. So you just wait there, send an invite anytime now. God dang it, man! Like, we're going on movie night. You want to get out to get milk? Oh, that's unfortunate. Well, here's another scenario. What if we have it as a shared home, right? you log into VRChat in your home, your own personal space, and well, you're not the only one who's going on a movie night. Your friend is not going on a movie night. Well, your other friend is already outside of the door, just knocking on the door. So you go outside, say hello, time for a movie night. And of course, that's where the fun starts. Oh, by the way, she is still outside to get milk. I do have photo proof of that. And she's right there at her home. I asked for permission, don't worry about it. So, quick introductions. My name is Kaiera. I am a character designer and a kimono multimedia artist. Kimono, for those who doesn't know, is like the Japanese side of furry art, anime stuff, chibi stuff, and all of that. And sometimes I do VTubing, quite rarely. But okay, sure. This is odd. You have in-depth VRChat things. You have in-depth programming things, hosting VRChat, all complex stuff. Well, a lot of people don't know actually that I am a computer science graduate who majored in digital arts and animation, and I experiment with game development. And I have some game jam games on my belt. One of them is actually a GitHub stat pick, and you can check them out there. We're gonna talk things and making sure the magic happens, right? So, to preface this, we're gonna make sure that this talk is designed to be very simple and very accessible. I will talk in simpler terms, no technical ones, and it's designed to be practical. In fact, the first half of this talk, you can actually do right now, well, in a few slides, of course, but designed to be practical, simplified, and definitely will have start and end points. It's actually very simple, in fact, that I provided a QR code throughout the whole talk. Should you go EP? Should you go somewhere, be busy? If you want to, skip all this because some things in life take you part of it, just literally take a screenshot right now or have a camera if you're in VRChat, and it's there. Everything's there. All resources, everything in depth, because I researched this extensively. Anyway, other than that, there will be questions I will be answering after this talk. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on circumstances here, that It'll be on the Furality Discord. Just check the same channel, the same talk name, a shared home. Anyway, for that. Okay, so we're talking on about two things. One is getting inside, which is the one most people are excited for. That is getting on VRChat, skipping all of the hubbub, getting on one instance, skipping all of the invites and everything. And the other one is the magic of a village, which is world building and all of the considerations about that side. All right. And at the end of the talk, of course, everything will be simplified. In fact, it's so simple that it's going to be done in less than a minute. Time me on that. I challenge you. Right. Okay. Time to get inside. Right. I will preface this that we're going to call the shared place for everyone, getting inside a shared instance. I just forgot to place that. It's going to be common throughout the talk. And some info here is actually something that I haven't discovered on my own. It has been discovered on my own. People have been doing it. It's just I'm sharing with you all, and well, a bit more than that. Okay. So, well, time to decide first. Well, there's about 6 or more of you needs to decide that one of you needs to be the host, the important person. They will have to do everything. Fortunately, they will have to do everything. But gosh, I'm repeating myself. They will have to do it only once in a while, so no worries. So the host has to do is to create the shared instance, being the instance owner, determining what kind of instance you and your friends are coming in, and creating the link. There's also refreshing the instance. We'll talk about that later, and giving everyone access. Of course, it's preferred that the host will also create the group, but it's recommended, not optional. Optional. Whoops. All right, let's go through the shared instance types real quick. It's not going to be the same as your normal instance types, because it all depends on who the host is. If you make an invite instance for your shared instance, it will outright not work. Why? If you give the link and they received it, when they tried to join, they said no, you have to be invited by the person specifically, unfortunately. But there is a catch. Invite instances are, if they're unlocked, then they will be able to join in. Friends is all dependent on the host's friends, right? If you're friends with a host, you can join in. Downside, what if it's like some other friend that you don't want to see, just rarely or such. Let's say like it's a hotel with rooms, and you don't want, wouldn't be those part of that area getting in. So your best bet there is do it as a group. Downside, VRC plus, but VRC plus is interesting. You can create your group and just not sub to VRC plus after that, because once you have created a group, you can manage it even without the subscription. So consider that if you don't want to keep VRChat plus forever. And of course, public. Why? Like really, are you inviting chaos? Is that your thing? Damn, man. All right. So, one important thing for a shared instance is that they will expire. They will all end up out of date, and you have to remake the instance each time this happens. So there's two ways of it happening. One is VRChat updating instances themselves. So for example, you're trying to get into the instance, and then you get the error of not being able to because it's out of date. This what tends to happen during open beta or on mobile when it's when the two versions are out of sync. The other one is specific author changes. So it's that one is not as mandatory, but if you're creating an instance for a world that you make yourself, what'll happen is that when you set the user cap low and then change it after the instance was created, that it will still follow the old instance cap. So if you're saying you're welcoming 8 people to 12, it'll still be 8. Then you have to create the instance. So you have to close it. But you don't have to do it often because, well, these updates are far in between actually. So my suggestion is to do it like every 6 months or so, or once a year, depending. And just make sure that you set a reminder for it. Actually, I will definitely say that I had to make my own instance again because I had to be out of open beta since the versions got updated. Like last week, I think. Anyway. Well, it's time to host. It's actually pretty easy. You just make your own instance. There's 3 types of ways to do that. One from VRChat. Don't create an instance inside of VRChat right now. We're in the talk. You're gonna leave for the next step. So don't. You can do it on the VRChat website as well. You select your world, create an instance from there, or a third-party tool like VRCX, which I used for testing a lot. Okay. So, despite whatever way you're doing, unfortunately, all roads will lead to the VRChat website. No matter what you do, because the next step is necessary with the VRChat website. So, if you're in VRChat, you want to open the sidebar, and then you'll see your current instance details there. Clicking on this, and for those who are accessing it in the site naturally, you will get this this page over here. So this is what you're given when you're trying to join off an instance from the web. And we're gonna do 2 things. If your group has a non-PC user, that means Quest for Quest, Android, iOS, you want to copy the URL of the invite page, or the lock link or unlock link. That's a typo over there. And for PC users, you want to right click on that launch world button. Now, launch world button is right click on the launch world button and copy the link from there. And that is odd. When you paste it, you end up with a URL that starts with VRChat. And not HTTPS. Well, this is something that VRChat does, actually. So let me introduce you to the garbled mess that is the VRChat protocol. This is what the website uses to launch everything VRChat from scratch. So you don't have to launch VRChat yourself. You just enter that, and then you'll open VRChat for you. Steam does it the same for launching and installing games too, if you don't know. Also, if you study this carefully, you can actually make your own instance with a custom name. The downside for that is that whenever you're closing the instance, you cannot use the same instance ever again with the same properties. It works with a different world, it works with a different instance type, but not what was before. Anyway, now it's your job to copy all of that info and give it to everyone. Let's take a nice quick water break for a moment. I've been talking for a bit. And do not forget to hydrate. It is hot here. Really hot. Anyway. So, you got your link and you wanted to share it to everyone. And it's time to get them in as well, right? It's gonna be so easy. It's so easy. In fact, it's... Oh, right. There's caveats. I forgot about that, you know? Not as easy as we thought. Anyway. If you're doing this method, it will not be your home world. It's not going to be your default one when you open the VRChat menu and you press go home. It's not going to be the instance that you entered in. If it is the same world, however, it's also not going to be the same instance as you entered in. For example, let's say you log into VRChat from that shared instance. Your home instance is not the same. And if you want to rejoin the instance, you just have to use the link. And once it's closed, you cannot use the link anymore. Quick side note though, me and my friends use a Discord server. We have a channel specifically for that and some quick instructions how to do all of this as well. All right. Getting on PC is so easy. You just make a shortcut. I will tell you how easy it is. Let me show you. Right click on your desktop, go to more, go to new shortcut, paste the shortcut, press next, finish, done. Double click, you're inside the instance. It's that easy. I don't know why people have been complicating it. It just takes less than a minute. Okay, sure. That's done on desktop. Okay, what about Steam? You want to do it on Steam? You're inside VR already. You want to boot it up from Steam, not your desktop. Okay, sure. Right click on Steam. Right click on VRChat on Steam. Paste the link as a launch option. Done. Double click, and you're in the same instance as everyone. It's so easy. Okay, sure. I still want my home world though sometimes. Not always the shared instance. Okay, sure. Just add it as a separate shortcut, like a non-Steam shortcut. Just find launch.exe from your VRChat folder. Put it as a launch option. You're done. Now you can have multiple shared homes. And of course, if you don't have Steam VR, might as well add that no VR cluster over there. Okay. Right. I know people also want to join in from iOS and Android and Quest. It's unfortunately not as simple as PC. And you want to know why? Is that unfortunately, VRChat doesn't work on mobile. The VRChat URL protocol. If that was working, then we could have skipped and just followed the desktop shortcuts. Oh, so easy. This is such a shame, but we do have a workaround. It's not as straightforward. So, what do you want? You're given a link, right? It starts with HTTPS. Set it as a bookmark on your browser. Like, literally, you launch the VRChat app, open your bookmark, and then you can just invite yourself in. Pretty good. Pretty good. You don't have to boot up VRChat as well. Like, you don't have to get into the world for that to show up. It's just going to show up as a pop-up. All right. Okay. For those savvy enough, people might just set it as their home screen shortcut. Well, unfortunately, it's not that simple either. It's because it installs it as a progressive web application, according to here, and it trims the excess. So it's just going to be VRChat home, vrchat.com/home, and you're just going to be sent back to the homepage. Unfortunately, if you're stubborn, you could try to find a website shortcut app, but I cannot suggest any, unfortunately. Okay. On Quest, you don't have to leave your headset as well. You could set it as a bookmark on the built-in browser and invite yourself that way. The difference is that you're just actually inviting yourself this time, which is it's something, right? You don't have to wait for an invite at least. Hey, that said, that's how you get into VRChat. So, all right, it's not just for shared homes though. This method is also good for other things. You know, like I said, movie night. It's not just movie night. Event spaces. If you have a cafe and you want your staff inside before you, then you don't have to send everyone an invite. They just can log in into the same shared instance like that. Another good method of that is classrooms. It's like you're attending class. You get in before the teacher comes in, and then it's straightforward. The teacher doesn't have to send you invites. There's so many good uses for this. It just doesn't work when you're trying to manage multiple instances at the same time, or if your event it needs to be closed afterwards. Well, that is definitely one have to talk already. I hope you are keeping up. If you're having a hard time grasping, remember there's a QR code. I'm going to be a broken record about it. And time for another water break. So, I dry up really quickly. It is really hot. Okay. Now, everyone's in the same instance, right? You can finally have your movie night. But what if you want to make your own home? So, I'm going to talk about it right about now. I will definitely tell you right now is that I am not going to teach you how to make a world. There is plenty of talks about making a world, and Furality has a lot of panels around that already. I link them all in the QR code over there. should you want to peruse? Programming, optimization, and just how to make it look beautiful and creating in general. In fact, there was a panel earlier by Maro P about lighting. I hope you guys saw that or watched the VOD later after the talk. All right. I will definitely tell you guys, we're going to delve a bit into Udon. And I'm not going to make it complicated. I'm not going to use like really weird terms around it. But I will definitely say it in the simplest words possible, just so you know how it works. Because once you know how it works, you know how to implement it. Especially if you're savvy in Udon. So, it's pretty simple actually. It's unique spawn points. So, unique spawn points just basically detects who you are and sends you on your way. So to do that, in VRChat, we don't have access to your username. So we're gonna go with your display name, that bubble on the top. You copy that from the VRChat home website and paste it to your system, right? And once you copy and paste that, you can just detect who it is. If the name matches, you just teleport them to where they need to be. In my case, my display name is via Kaiera. If it matches via Kaiera in my home world, it'll teleport me to my home. Simple, right? Unfortunately, it's not that simple, since we cannot use your usernames and your display names. Once you switch out of your display name, well, we cannot detect you anymore. You're just going to be another death. Not death. You're going to be just another guest to the eyes of the world. Okay. There's also a problem if another user takes over your old username, which is going to be problematic, since now someone with malicious intent might just enter your world, and we don't want that, right? Okay. Nah, sure, I want to be protected from that. There is another way of doing it. If you heard of VRChat persistence, we can make use of that. So in VRChat, everyone has their own player data. And player data is the ones that is stored through persistence. So let's say you want to, save like how many gold you have. It goes into player data. So we can take advantage of that. And when someone decides to, when someone decides to save their location in case they're home, we can put that into player data and teleport you there the next time you come in. This is also good if you're making a shared home for those who doesn't have one or having a hard time making a VRChat world themselves. Right? This is great. This is great when when you and your friends just don't have one and you found a world luckily enough. Downside though, if they reset their user data, you have to do it all over again. Anyway, now you know how it works. It's simple as that, right? Who am I? I'm Kaiera. Are you Kaiera? Says the world. Yes. Teleport. Done. And that's how it works. Anyway, okay, Kai. I don't know Udon. I just like to put stuff in the world. Don't worry. We have the tools. One I've used personally here is the dynamic personalized spawn system by Akitsuyori on Boost. You can get it over there if you want. If you want a really simple solution, you just put their usernames as the object's name, or if you really want to manage that, I made a tool for everyone. This is going to be really powerful because not only you can set it as different objects in the world, disregarding where these objects are, you could also set it up so the first person who creates the instance sets their spawn point, which is really good for solo homes. You know, if you don't want the feeling of going home and opening VRChat to go home again, which is weird, why not start in your bedroom? You could set it like that. There's also a system for you to just go back to default spawn after a certain time. So let's say you accidentally set your spawn to the void and you're endlessly falling, right? You just teleport twice and then you're back to the default spawn, not your unique spawn. Anyway, all of this is accessible in the QR code there. Should you miss on it? But every VRChat world has their own caveats, especially when you're making a shared home. So we're gonna go through considerations and what's important in a shared home, right? First of all, if you're making a home for everyone, then listen to your residents. You want to make it a home, not some hotel room, not a vacation home. You want to make it theirs. Like even small things like artwork on the wall or some type of furniture that they want to use, or maybe a plush of their favorite Avali or something. And you want to make sure that it's consistent. Mostly because if you want to keep your world size small, have it consistent. Of course, it's gonna be a very big undertaking when you're doing this. I've been making my homeworld for months now, and it's still not done. And that's because I want to take my time. If I do everything in one go, you're just gonna burn yourself out. Of course, you could also be insane, be Tom Nook, and make a whole system for them to buy the furniture and make it their way. Thank you, persistence, for that. Also, since it is personal homes we're talking about, privacy is important. So you want to make sure that they feel safe as well. Not just, go out to their home, scream at them when they're not ready. And we have ways of doing that. So we're going to go through this one by one really quickly. First of all, access prevention. Access prevention is, a VIP lounge, right? If you don't have VRChat Plus, you're not allowed into the VIP lounge. But using players' display names, you can also lock out those who are not the player. I do have my own system for doors that just has a lock based on a switch, and you just click on that and it locks for everyone. And you have audio voice zones here, and it's used in Furality, event spaces, DJ stuff, but it can also be used for private areas. So if you don't want people to be heard while you're inside the house and you're outside, then that's privacy for you. Really privacy. There is a tool here. We don't voice utilities. You might want to take some time to learn that. It's a bit daunting, but once you get it down, it'll be really easy for you to implement. And they do have examples there, at least. Also, visibility zones, right? When someone, a malicious actor, decides to use their camera to move inside to your home, if they try to look at your stuff, it's not there. And you can easily do that by just setting a trigger to disable objects when you leave in and out. And finally, anti-peeking. This is like rarely used, actually. I'm surprised not much people use this. But basically, if someone decides to move their camera into a certain space, you just black out their camera. You can do it with post-processing volumes. For Quest, you need to use a script that blocks out the camera. There's more examples in depth to that on the QR code as well, if you wonder how to do all of these. And last but not least, optimization is very important. It's not just avatars. The world is too. Especially when you have a world made for many people. Okay, let me give you an example, right? This is harkening back to an older talk. Here, everyone has their own VRAM, and these VRAM are essentially your inventory depending on how powerful your PC is. It's not just avatars that take that space, it's also the world. Of course, if the world is small, then everything is smooth. It's all good. But let's say you don't care at all and you decide to just put everything in, no fancy terms like occlusion or trimming. And you decided to bring in a very high polygon toothbrush, and now you wonder where everyone is. That's because their PCs cannot handle it. They're gone, man. They're gone. Absolutely gone. So let me give you another example as well. This is my home world. It's called Hopcat Hometown. I just released a public version of this 30 minutes ago, actually. If you want to check it out, you can visit that. But here, I'm benchmarking it with my own specs. I will tell you this. It's a home for 18, soon to be 20 people. It's a very big island, 300 square meters, if you know how big that is. And it homes a lot. It has flying, it has teleportation, it has a smartphone system, it has billiards, a tennis court, a lot of things. And you know what? Since I'm the guy who makes this, of course it's gonna perform very good. And that's a really big world to everyone. And I'm telling you, it's not impossible if you take the time and energy to optimize it as much. Mine is an extreme example, of course, because I wanted to fit into max frame rate every time on solo. And if you want in contrast, here's my laptop from 2016. It's not in VR, but it works decently still. 45 to 50 FPS, which is still a lot, pretty decent. I tell you this, we want to try to aim for max frame rate because when multiple people starts to join your instance, that it's very clear that your FPS is gonna tank. I'm pretty sure those who are early in a Furality instance have seen this work already from full all the way to half immediately. And it's very important for you to take note of it, because if someone has really low FPS, what can happen is that it will happen. They will have nausea and they cannot stay for as long. What's a home if your home gives you nausea, right? And I cannot express this enough, because we do have one of those people there, and I care for them a lot. So remember to optimize your worlds, people. If you want to know what optimization techniques I have, it's also in the QR code. Anyway, unfortunately, optimization is very important. I will definitely tell, but it's not the point of this talk. A lot of people have done it before. Here's some examples of those, also in the QR code. And I hope you would take time to check all of these panels before, jumping the gun. But before we end this talk, I will leave you one thing to consider that is not mentioned anywhere else. As a world creator with 18 people homes, those video players actually make you lag a lot. I know that it's tempting to just copy and paste those video players everywhere, but when they're all playing, it's gonna shoot your FPS down by a ton. So your best bet is to teleport them instead. I'm pretty sure that some of you has like utilities that will allow you to teleport objects when entering an area. It's easy as that. Anyway, let's summarize. Well, honestly, you just copy and paste the link, and then you make sure that you teleport your friends. Do not forget the ice cream, because I prefer ice cream and respect their privacy. And it's not just if you just crash everyone out. Sometimes just having a place to call home can sometimes have an impact on how we interact with each other. To hang out with and not have just a party every weekend. So with that in mind, let's make shared space worlds for everyone. For those who cannot make their own homes for themselves, who live too far away, and for us to be closer. And honestly, that is the talk. If you want to take a picture, please take a picture right now. If you want to, take note of everything. Big shout outs to Wishdream, by the way. If it's not for him, this talk wouldn't be as short as it is, because I do go into tangents, and they recently published Kinu. I hope you check them out as well. And my socials are there. After this talk, I will go into at least one of the Japan instances, like preferably an empty one, so to give an equal chance of everyone wanting to, those who meet me and want to check out Hopcat Hometown together, if you are interested. Anyway, if for those who are asking for a VOD, I will try to publish one as soon as possible. And for questions and answers, we're gonna do that in a bit.
Hello. Like Kaiera said, there is a channel in the Furality server to
ask
questions. Spartina H asks, are there already worlds that exist in VRChat that have this sort of setup already organically? Curious to find one to join, or is this something that's like more of a requires customization?
Unfortunately, even as a world traveler myself, from what I've experienced, there's actually no place that does this kind of thing that is public. So if anyone wants to make one, everyone would appreciate to have that kind of location.
See. Prince Obasuke asks, what's the max players you recommend for a comfy lag-free shared home? Or what is your experience with how that stacks?
If you want a shared home, like don't go like as high as me. If you want to make it manageable, like try to aim for 6 or 5. I think that will be the ideal amount because like it's small enough, but it's large enough for people to have a hub in shared hub. So let's say it's a dormitory, right? Pretty much.
Okay. See if there's any other questions that come in.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone's been asking any on Twitch, feel free to go to the Discord and type your questions there as well.
Mm-hmm. I did see one home. I cannot remember what it is, but I remember like one world where you can set your spawn when you log out. But I can't remember what it is. But it's more of a personal home than a shared home.
Reno Leovalli asks, any tips for world creators?
Oh, yeah. If try to double down on your intention, right? If you want to make it cozy, then try to learn a bit of feng shui. A bit of feng shui actually helps quite a bit on making a cozy world. But if you're making a city, then do study on optimization really hard because you can fit in so many things into one location. But if you're just far away and not see it from there, it's still gonna count. So if you have a lot of if you have a lot of objects there, then might as well unload them because you can't see them or they're too far away. And if you're making a game world, then remember that experience is key. If if your pistol just drops just because you just released your trigger, then I don't think everyone will have a fun experience.
Okay.
Remember your
With
intentions.
a named spawn, a Glitchy asks, with a named spawn, is there any delay? Like they load at normal spawn and then move to the named spawn, or is it instant?
Okay, I didn't tell this during the talk, but if you try to teleport them immediately as soon as they load, it won't work. A good safe amount is like 1/10 of a second at least. But do note when that happens, it might be jarring. So teleport them into like something simple, like something simple and neutral. For Hopcat Hometown, we have a black cube that is slightly out of bounds before we teleport them to where they're intended, and there's a material that fades in your view, so it doesn't feel as jarring.
See. Willow asks, any shader recommendations, either to make it smooth for everyone, or shaders that you prefer to use or that you use for your hometown?
Okay. You want to at least like if you're going for optimization, you want your stuff to be simple, right? For me, I personally use Silence Filamented shader because it's just a standard Unity shader, but it's made for PBR. And if you really care about lighting, it has VRC light volume support as well. Try to look for shaders that doesn't use transparency too much or a lot of effects. You want to keep it simple. And unless your world is extravagant, I don't think a lot of people will pay attention to like the subtler details, like grids on a wall or something. If you're having a hard time, as well, Silent also has their filament shader on triplanar, which I use a lot if you're having a hard time scaling normals on models.
Okay. Is there a way, Craft241 asks, is there a way to also use other worlds as outside worlds with the different teleportation? Or would they have to make their own for that?
If it's something that you didn't make yourself, unfortunately, you will have to trust the world author to add them. Otherwise, it just wouldn't work because it's on the world creator's end of things to make that kind of teleport system happen.
Right. Glaze1902 asks, how does it work for someone using Steam Link, AirLink to launch VRChat and not directly on Steam through the earlier mentioned link?
Oh, Steam Link, right? Okay, so on Steam, you're given the dashboard, right? When you're creating an extra shortcut on Steam Link, you can there's a check mark there that says like enable in VR, and then it's gonna appear in your library as well. I hope that's the right answer to that question. For those who are also wondering, for the Steam Deck, it's also pretty much the same. You can edit the launch options from the Steam Deck as well.
All right, probably time for one more question.
Mm-hmm.
Glitchy asks, is there any performance draw for the no peeking areas? It would be useful for admin rooms in event worlds, but
For what?
the question is there any performance draw for the no peeking areas?
For no peeking areas? No, because when you're making a no peeking area, it's essentially a post processing volume. So like unless the camera enters that area, it shouldn't affect it unless you have too many of them in everywhere. The idea, if you want to make sure you don't want to if you don't want to have a performance draw, even like static objects that are active, you want to disable them because even static objects that exist that are enabled will still take some performance.
Okay. One more here.
Mm-hmm.
When making the world using persistence, do you have to program a way to assign them that spawn via an object only? And
No.
Yeah.
There's a second part. Well, let me continue.
Oh no, and so only you and they know how that sets when you interact with it, or can you do it all in Udon?
You can absolutely do it in Udon. Like if you want to cheat, if you want to cheat, you could absolutely do detect your username and then set the parameter in persistence that way, so you don't have to personally interact with an object. You could also do like you know, triggers, I suppose, that only activate once and disables once you have it saved.
All right. Any final comments you want to give?
Well, I do absolutely thank you all. There is so much interest for everyone in this talk, and I'm gonna make sure that it would go out to everyone, because if this wasn't a talk, this information actually gets quickly buried everywhere, and that's why I'm presenting it to Furality for everyone to have. Anyways, also shout outs to my patrons who allows me to spend some more time making this talk than just going through commissions every time. Anyway, my name's Kaiera. Hopefully you have a good Furality, or have a good night, since it's the last panel of the day. And hope you all to see you soon. Mata ne!